Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Jedi Night's Watch. My name is Graham, and today we have another Hot Toys unboxing and review for you. This is going to be Darth Vader from Star Wars, the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. This was one I was back and forth on getting. I mean, obviously it's Darth Vader, so very hyped about it, but I've already got a couple Darth Vaders, so did I really need to pick this up? That's what we're going to find out today. And I'm really excited to do that with you. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell so you don't miss any new content coming your way. All right, as we are looking at the box, it's nothing real new here. I mean, you do have that 40th anniversary logo there on the bottom from Return of the Jedi. Really cool. It's a bigger box than normal, but the outer sleeve is the normal style, and this is going to be MMS 700. Can you believe it? We are at 700. Amazing. Good job, Hot Toys. It is a slip cover, and when we remove that, we do have like the old Kenner style action box, somewhat, you know, like a vintage art box here. Not my favorite. I think it just dumbs it down a little bit, it makes it a little bit too toyish. It's not bad. I do like the window display. It's nice to have something different, but not my favorite style of box. Nonetheless, once we get it out and we get all of the clamshells out, there's a lot of clamshell here, lots of layers to this figure. We can see everything that comes in it. I'm excited for the two bases. I'm excited for all the head sculpts. This is, you might think this is a normal Vader, but there is a lot different here, a lot of more things to offer that we haven't gotten before, and let's get them out of the box and take a look at them. But before we do that, you know, we got to start with the bases. In this video, we have plural, two bases, and they are pretty big. We're going to start with the big steps here. It is really cool. You have like the normal Death Star like base top there. You can put the stairs on each side, and you do have to put them together. They're just three kind of frames along with the poles that you kind of stick in there. It's really not hard at all once you kind of figure it out. It's nice. It's big. It's going to be good for photos. I don't know if I'm going to be able to use this though. It's really tall and massive. I got to think of what I'm going to use it for. Then we have the round circular base that I do like that they're doing. It also has the Star Wars silver nameplate, and you have these brackets that you can put the head sculpts on. I don't like them. Again, I think it cheapens the figure a little bit. So for me, less is more, and I'm going to take these off and they just kind of clamp on. And take a look at the circular base because that's what I'm going to be using. I do like this a lot. It's a little bit taller than what we're used to seeing, but it's going to kind of make the figure stand out a little bit more. Of course, this is going to be USB-C powered, and let me just grab a cord here. Note, Hot Toys does not ship these. You do have to buy these separate, and unfortunately I have to buy a couple extra more because I need longer ones. So nonetheless, let's take a look. It lights up really well. It's got lights on the side as well, and even on the back. I do wish when you were looking at it from the front, you could see some of the lights on the sides. Like I wish there was some in the front too, but nonetheless, it lights up really well. You can easily see it. It's going to add a nice touch to the figure, a little red shadow going on the bottom there. So I like this a lot. It's a lot like the C-3PO base as well. Very, very good stuff by Hot Toys. Excited to get these in the displays and see how I'm going to use them. All right, now let's go to the accessories. And surprisingly, we don't have the head sculpts here, but there's not really a ton here. We have the rolling eye tool here. We have the box, the junction box for everything to plug into, and then we can light him up via USB-C. There's an on-off switch here. We'll show you how that goes later on. And then we do have the, if you want to use the USB-C lightsaber, you can. And then we do have the non-USB-C lightsaber. It looks good. I feel like they maybe, like the switch on the lightsaber is different. It's all black. I thought it used to be silver, and there's no blue parts, but maybe he just changed his saber. I don't know. I don't know if it's just less accurate or what, but there's like blue and white cord. Anyways, here is the lightsabers themselves, and they actually seem a lot more saturated than in the past. They're very red, and I think it picks up on camera, but it actually looks even more red in person. Of course, we get the normal array of hands with Darth Vader. These are going to be the like the horizontal lined gloves. The Obi-Wan and the Rogue One came with the like vertical ribbed gloves, so these are a little bit different. These are like Empire Strikes Back, but they are all the same gestures. And there is the one that added in this box that I am really excited to use, and it's the chopped off hand. It looks awesome. It is kind of soft. It's actually pretty soft. I thought there'd be more detail, more cords poking out, but nonetheless, it's really cool to finally have this in 1/6 scale, and I'm definitely going to be using this, so excited for that. Now let's move on to the head sculpts, and this is kind of the money maker here. Is we have this electrified head sculpt, and you can see the skull inside, so it's like this translucent dome and mask, and you got the lightning effect on. You can remove it, but I'm going to leave it on. We do have the cord that pops in here. There's already been a couple of people that have accidentally forgotten to unplug this when they swap the head and then pull the cord right out. So be very careful on that. We'll get a closer look in a little bit. But let's bring the other Vader out really quick just to kind of compare the two head sculpts. You can definitely tell it's translucent, it's see-through, it's transparent, I guess you'd say. And we're going to light it up in a little bit too, but I'm not a big fan of the lightning effects, but here I kind of dig it. So yeah, we'll see. I want to use it, but at the same time, how do you get this figure and not use the Sebastian Shaw head sculpt? This looks really good. Be careful of the little the prongs there on the ends. Those are very delicate. Don't want anybody to break those. So just be very careful when you're handling these Darth Vader heads. But look at all of the detail in the scars and the color, paint apps, the cuts. Oh man, the ears of Sebastian Shaw look spot on. The likeness is there. This is really cool. The eyebrows are even missing. Nice magnetic connection here too. So I don't know if you can see because the light's not really that great pointing in here, but he has the single eye moving system. Unfortunately, one of my eyes is a little loose, so I was able to get it where I wanted to get it, but at the same time, it kind of sags a little bit. So kind of unfortunate there that it's a little loose, and you can kind of see how it kind of like sags down a little bit. That's the loose eye there, but this is going to be a great figure with angles, like getting him looking to the side, and I want him kind of looking down and maybe holding the helmet. So I've kind of got an idea of how I want to pose him, but at the same time, I feel like this is going to be a tough figure to pose because it's a Darth Vader, but it's also, I'm using a Sebastian Shaw head sculpt. The only time we saw this was when he was laying down, so I'm going to have him standing, and I'm just trying to figure out how is this going to look. So bear with me on that, but first, let's get the figure out here himself. This is the Darth Vader from Return of the Jedi in all his glory. You might think he looks a lot like Empire Strikes Back, and you'd be correct. A lot of the same similarities. They did kind of update the helmet and the dome, but the technology is still the same, and we'll talk about that in a little bit here too. But he looks great. Unfortunately, the suit is still pleather. You know, they're coming out with the new Luke kind of crossover that is a like a nylon material. So unfortunately, this is pleather. So at some point, you know, this is going to start cracking and deteriorating. But right now, he looks great. He looks sharp. The proportions look great as well. Let's get him in hand and talk about him a little bit further here too. And I left the cape off just because I wanted to get a good look at the back too without kind of futzing with it too much. So here is the head. It looks really good. It looks a lot better than Empire Strikes Back. However, the dome still connects via the friction connection. The mask itself has a lot more detail though than Empire Strikes Back, and it looks great. And this piece can come off too, and you can see how it connects. But then you can also see on the inside all of the detail that's added in there too. It is really cool. So if you ever just want to take that off and look at what it would be like to be in Vader's mask, there you go. You can do that. And then it kind of like is magnetic, so it just pops right on. I have a really hard time getting this dome on when the mask is on the neck piece itself. It does not want to go in. I can't find the connection, so kind of had to go off screen and take it apart and then do it that way. So kind of frustrating that it doesn't want to connect very well. And I don't feel like it's much different than Empire Strikes Back, where I feel like if I bump it, it still comes off pretty easily. So I'm pretty frustrated with actually how this works. Like, why couldn't they use a magnet instead of the friction connection? Because as we go further too in the future of taking it on, putting it on, taking it off, putting it on, that I feel like the friction connection is going to get worse and worse, and it's going to get looser and looser. So that's not something that I'm too excited about. So I had to put mine on the mask and then put him on the rest of the piece too. So outside of that, everything looks good. Very clean, very awesome looking. But the only little bit of weathering is going to be on his belt kind of boxes there, so we'll show you how those light up later. It's very I want to say stiff, but like it's a stiff figure. You can definitely tell it's brand new. It feels tight. So I'm liking that a lot too. Then on the back you can see all of the connections that come with the Darth Vader. So that's for the box, and then we have the waist or the belt boxes there as well. And then obviously if you use the lightsaber, that'll plug in there too. Now before we light them up, I want to show you though, this is like my favorite thing about this figure is how easy the hands go into the sockets or the pegs. Like that's it. That's all the fuss it took. It was so easy. I don't know what they did that's different, but it works, and I'm so happy for that, because even my Obi-Wan Vader, I can't even plug the hand in because it just won't go in. I probably have to heat it up, but I just haven't gotten to it. But that is so cool. I've done it with a couple hands, and both of them went on super easy. One thing though about the shoulder piece is that it really rides up. Like it doesn't want to stay in place. So that's kind of making him look like he doesn't have a neck, or just kind of pushing things upward. So as I took it off, I saw that there was like pads here. I might take those off and see if it sits a little bit lower, because it's kind of frustrating trying to move him around, and the shoulder piece just kind of keeps riding up. So we'll see what we do about that and see if I can get that changed. But nonetheless, let's get him out and get him lit up here. So here you can see we turn him on, and just like that, our Vader comes to life. He looks really, really good here. Everything's working well. The cape doesn't drape as well as I would like it to. It's definitely different from Tarkin Vader, and you can see here the connection piece to the USB-C. But the cape is something I'm kind of having a problem with too, getting it to lay just right. And we'll talk about that a little bit in the future too. Here's a little bit of a close-up of the cord that goes into the helmet. It's like you can see the exposed cord. It's very delicate, so again, be careful with that. I love this right here. This looks really cool. The pose that he's in, but then the electrified helmet. I would love to keep him in this pose, but I feel like it's almost a crime not to use the Sebastian Shaw portrait. So I'm impressed with this though. It's cool how it's blinking, and then you have the rest of the suit lit up, and you know, got the chopped off hand. It all comes together, and this Vader looks super, super sick like this. But nonetheless, this is the pose that I think I'm going to put him in, and this is no slouch either. This pose looks great. I need to use that Sebastian Shaw head sculpt. So now that we have him in our pose, let's talk about some of the things that I like about the figure and some things not so much. Starting with the things I really like, it's obvious. It's the Sebastian Shaw portrait. It looks awesome. It is even better than the quarter scale. The hand connection is probably my favorite part of this new Vader. I'm so glad that they finally fixed connecting the gloves to the wrist pegs, because it was such a pain to do that. And then obviously you get the two bases, which are massive and big and tall, so that's really cool too. Some things I didn't like was the dome connection. Still not great for me. The cape doesn't drape as well as it does for the Tarkin Vader that we're going to see here in a minute too. The base is a little too tall. Like it's a big figure. Vader's a big guy, so the base was a little too tall for what I'm working with right here. So I went with my Obi-Wan base just to get him down a little bit further, but I'm still using that base, and it's going to be for this Vader. So it still works really well, and I love this look. But just a little nitpick there. The stairs are even taller, so it's really hard for me to use the stairs. And then just the other thing that it's not that I don't like, but it's difficult about the figures. It's hard to find a great pose for the Vader if you're using the Sebastian Shaw head sculpt, because it's just different. Like you barely see him like this, and he's laying down, he's dying. But here I tried to do my best. He's holding his mask, he's got his arm chopped off, he's kind of got the angled look. So I think he looks really good here, but I want to know in the comments from you guys, what do you think? Do you think I should stick with this? Do you have any ideas of how I could tweak it to make it look maybe just a little bit better? The cape looks okay, but something about the cape throws me off too. Again, I think my Tarkin Vader cape the material feels different, so the cape is definitely different. I think it's the same as Obi-Wan, but a little bit different from what we saw with previous Darth Vader. So that's throwing me for a little loop here too. Love the detail on the helmet, just do not like how it connects to the dome itself. But here it is in the collection. Let me know what you guys think of the new Vader. And again, here I'm using the base with Tarkin Vader. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Till next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.